Hey guys, I want to welcome you and let you know how great it is to have you here for the Greater Purpose Podcast.
What's up? Welcome to the Greater Purpose Podcast from the Cubs room. And then there's the cheering, roaring crowd. Isn't that amazing? Yeah, isn't that great? Now, is the room amazing or just the roaring crowd?
I don't know.
I don't know. Okay. All right. So listen, I'm going to introduce my guest in just a second. Before we do that, make sure you go to the-greater-purpose.com and visit. Well, there's a lot of things to visit on that website. But you can go back and check out all the previous episodes. I'm not going to say the number of the episodes anymore because what's happening is we're recording episodes and I'm getting the wrong numbers. So I'm just not going to say the number anymore. But whatever number this is, or however many number there are, just go back and watch them all. Binge watch on a weekend. Take a Friday night, right? Start on Friday night and binge watch all the way till church on Sunday morning. That'd be a great idea, right? So. But a lot of great guests on the Greater Purpose Podcast. Also, you can support the podcast. As my guest just saw as we were setting up, this equipment is, if you were here, you would be shocked. Apparently it looks a lot different on the podcast, people tell me. So, but we could spruce it up a little bit. We could do something with the equipment. We could, change a few things around. So, if you want to support the podcast for as little as $2 a month, you can go to Ko-fi, K-O-F-I, and you can support the Greater Purpose Podcast with a donation of $2 a month. That's, a cup of coffee, right?
Man.
You could do that, right? So anyway, we hope you'll do that. Also, appreciation to my producer, Stephen Wright, who's never here. Just kidding. I don't even tell him when the podcasts are anymore. I just schedule him. So, but he's the one who got us started. And my executive producer, shout out to Donna Ward for her support and everything she's done to help encourage this ministry to move forward. So let me introduce my guest, Gavin Stafford. And I'm glad to have you too. No, that's good. Hey, listen. So I've had all kinds of guests up here. Some of them get up and speak in front of thousands of people. Some of them never get up and speak in front of anybody, and some of them are somewhere in between. And they're nervous, and first few podcasts I did, I was nervous, and I'm not even the one being interviewed. So, but he's not nervous at all. So this is so cool. This is going to be great. So introduce yourself to everybody out there in the podcast world.
Well, my name is Gavin Stafford, and
thank you. Appreciate that. Okay.
We got that already.
You got a good sense of humor too, by the way. That's why I know to do that. But anyway, go ahead.
I attend Victory Christian Academy, and I'm in 11th grade. God He's really, really moved this year, not only in my life, but in others around me, my family, my schoolmates. God has been great. I'm a child of God. He has redeemed me. He has set me free, and I am where I am today because of him.
Amen. And you were recommended by multiple leaders at our church to be on the podcast, just so you know that. I kind of thought it'd be a good idea too, but sometimes people have to bring my attention to something, and then I said, that'd be a great idea. So we got you here. Glad to have you here, straight from school.
Yeah.
Right? So this posts on a Monday morning, so they think you went to school on Monday morning, but no. He came after school, and James Shook, he's back there somewhere. Good. Wave at us, James. There you go. Our youth minister at South Gastonia Church of God. His youth pastor. He brought him. So how cool is that? So, but we're not going to talk to James. James, if you want to talk to James, you got to go back and look at his podcast. Do you remember what number yours was by chance?
28.
28. There you go. Number 28, somewhere in that vicinity. Go back and look at James. So what? So for Gavin's purposes today, Gavin, when did you first? Was like you woke up one morning and you just knew God had spoken to you and told you it's time to get right and start walking with God, or was it a period of time, or how did that work for you? Because it's different for all of us.
Well, I've grown up in church. All my life I've been in and out of church. My grandfather, he was actually Pastor Joel Shirley. He preached at several churches.
Okay.
But one of the main ones is Yorkwood. That's the one I grew up in.
All
That's
right.
Yorkwood Church of God.
Gotcha.
But he passed away in 2018, and that caused some complications in the family, and then that pulled me out of church. So I lived several years of being outside of church and living in sin. I had already been exposed to exposed to God and the Holy Spirit and the Holy Ghost, and I had actually been filled when I was younger. So it eventually comes around, and you can't really run away from it.
You can't run.
So,
Nope. You can run. You can't hide.
Yeah, that's right.
That? Yeah.
But very recent, back in, I would say March, really, God got a hold of me, and I really started. I had a genuine hunger for Him, and I genuinely started chasing after Him, because it's like, I want more of this. I want more of this. I just want to seek His face, and that's a lot nowadays. It's like, in my generation, you don't really see that, and I know it's not only me. I know there's several in my class that see that, and they're like heartbroken because they chase after the things of this world and the fleshly desires. They chase after that instead of chasing God, and it truly is heartbreaking. But
so you felt the call?
Yeah.
So you've officially been called to ministry, right?
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. Not exactly sure
where
yet.
You don't know yet. Well, and we don't always know.
Step by step, day by day.
Yeah.
That's how that song goes.
There you
right?
go. Yep, exactly. So yeah, because I wasn't saved till I was 26, and I mean I was obviously called to do something, because we're all called to ministry of some sort, and some to a greater purpose.
Right.
But I sure didn't know that at the age of 58 I would start a podcast. That would be So you just don't know. See, so that's cool. All right. So in all of that, so maybe it was your grandfather, maybe there was somebody else. Who could you look at if you had to pick one person, male or female, that was your greatest inspiration in knowing that it's time for me to start serving, walking as a godly man?
Recently?
Or I mean, it might have been somebody even before that, but that was the catalyst to where you are now.
Well, I mean, noticeably recently, it's just been a lot of leadership in the church. You know, Chris White, and I don't know if you count Matthew and Mark Huffman.
Oh, absolutely.
But they've
all three of them have been on the podcast. How about that? Yeah, that's great.
They've always been in contact with me, talking to me constantly, and leading me and guiding me, and they've just been that father figure. You know, my father, he's not in church. I've been trying to get him in church for a while now. Soon, hopefully he will.
Pray for that.
Soon, hopefully he will.
Yep.
But they've definitely been a father figure in my life, and they have led me to where I am right now.
Yeah.
Obviously,
there you go.
In the Word, and
that's good. Good to have strong leadership around you. So, and we do at South, and I know for others out there who don't attend South Gastonia, you have great leadership as well. So, hopefully they're leading the youth in that direction. How do you feel like, so you're walking God's path now, and I've seen it, we've all seen it, and how do you feel like you're best affecting, because younger men affect younger men differently, older men affect younger men differently, older men affect older men differently, etc.
Right.
So how do you feel like you are being most effective in the walk that you're walking now with Christ?
Well, a lot with just kids my age. I mean, just being that, like a brother, because our class is really close. We've only got 8 in our class. But our class
Are you
is
in
really
Mark? Are you in
Mark?
Okay,
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But yeah, we're really close, and it's nice to have that fellowship there with people your age that you could just talk to them about God without getting criticized for it.
Nice.
That's a big thing. Let's see.
Actually, Mr. Huffman. Sorry.
I'm sorry. But and then like I've talked to Mr. Huffman, and he's like, our class truly blesses him, and other young people that when he sees that, when he begins to pour into them, and then when he sees that and God pours into them, and then they start following God, it just truly blesses him. He was talking to me about that a couple weeks ago. But I just feel like kids our age, they feel like, oh, we can't get up and do anything in the church because everybody's older, and it's something for the older people. But it truly blesses the older generation, and I feel like I need to get that point across to my class and
Sure.
other kids in my school, because if they start worshiping God, that's going to bless the older generation and even the younger generation. And when they see that, it's just mind blowing. And then God will come in and His presence will come in, and it'll just be amazing and sweet and just something that I've been wanting for a long time.
Yeah.
It's just everyone to be in one mind and one accord. And now I feel like at South we're getting to that point where we're getting in one mind and one accord for God, and we're just seeking God's face. We just want to love Him and just be in His presence.
Yeah. Well, and it's an inspiration. So watching older individuals, older than me, I mean, I'm 61, that's kind of old, but, worship and be in the Spirit. And then it's also on the other side, very inspirational to watch you younger guys, and even younger than you, Maddox and Noah and those guys.
That was blessed. That blessed me. That even blessed me.
Yep,
and he's half my age.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just it. I mean, so don't be afraid to worship. Don't be afraid to step up. Don't be afraid to step out. Whatever God's calling you to do, you need to do it. So, and that's not just inside the church, by the way, just like our pastor and Garrett Marchant have been emphasizing in the revival is step outside of the four walls of our church as well, because ministry goes beyond just what's happening inside the church. It's a combination of all that. So cool. All right, good deal. So if you had to pick from those 5 topics that I sent you, would you mix and match, or would you have five men who've inspired you, 5 women who inspired you, 5 heroes of the faith? They could be biblical, they could be present day, they could be recent history, or would you like to pick some Bible favorites, like some scriptures or books or something like that? Which way you want to go with that?
Just throw some stuff in there.
Throw it in.
We'll just start with.
That'd be a cornucopia, right? Is that what that means? Cornucopia, a mixture of stuff. I don't know.
Okay,
you don't even know, do you?
No.
Okay.
So 5 men who have inspired me.
Go.
I mean, I'll probably throw some women in there too.
Sure.
I'm just gonna start listing people.
Go.
We got Chris White, Matt Huffman, Mark Huffman.
Wait, you mentioned them already.
I know. I'm gonna mention them again.
Okay, good. All right. So you guys got 2 shout outs. Okay.
We got Adrian. Yep. Adrian Garrett.
So Adrian Franklin, Garrett Marchant.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I got to do the full.
Right. Well,
okay.
So we have, believe it or not, it's not just our church people that watch the podcast.
Really?
As a matter of fact, there's people that have no idea that we go to South, except that we say it on the podcast. But yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
Then we got Kimberly Pendleton.
Pendleton, yeah. I was going to say Kimberly. Some of you would know her as Kimberly, formerly as Kimberly Franklin, Kimberly Gilly Franklin previously, but yeah, Kim Pendleton. All right, our former
Mama Kim,
Mama Kim, they call her, right? So former youth pastor. Yep. So who else?
Yeah. Let's see.
I mean, you don't have to just like rattle off
I think that's about it for people. I can list right now.
Yeah,
there's some others.
Okay. All right. Cool.
Favorite book.
Okay.
Right now I've been in between. I wouldn't really say none of them are my favorite.
They're all
amazing.
Sure they are.
But I've been between 2 a lot right now, and it's Isaiah and Matthew.
Oh.
I don't know why, but it keeps getting brought up in conversations, and then I've actually been reading out about those. But I recently did Matthew 5, the Beatitudes.
Okay. Ooh.
That one pretty good. I really like that.
Did you? Cool.
It's one of my favorite chapters is Matthew chapter 5.
Nice. Cool. Good deal. All right. Anything else or anybody? How about if you had to pick a historical hero, not like more modern, like within the last, within your lifetime, let's say, who would you pick besides like not local people? Like, is there anybody on the world stage that you would pick? Just curious with your generation.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
No? There's no
Superman.
Superman. There you go.
Yeah, Superman.
All right, we'll get into the superheroes in a minute, but yeah, okay, that's cool. What about biblical? Who, again, this would be hard, just like it's hard to pick favorite scriptures and stuff. I get that. Who, if you had to pick one hero of the Bible, who would that be?
Well, we're going to pick the greatest of them all.
The greatest.
Jesus.
Well, of course, Jesus. Okay, wait, I should have done a disclaimer there. You can't pick Jesus because Jesus is for everyone. So if you had to pick someone other than Jesus, who's your favorite hero of them? A plain old man, just a or woman. Could have been one of the women of the Bible.
Paul.
There you go.
He wrote a lot of the New Testament.
Mm-hmm.
That I think that's amazing. That takes a lot of discernment, a lot of just discipline to do that,
Yeah.
and a lot of the ridicule that he had to have gone through. I mean,
Sure.
it's a lot. So he's probably one of my biggest is Paul.
That's good.
So,
yeah, because we take it for granted because we're reading it after the fact,
Mhm.
and so persecution that he had to put after he persecuted everybody, then the persecution that he had to go through and everything. So yeah, cool. All right, good deal. So anything else spiritually, scripturally, anything like that? You want to share anything about Victory Christian Academy or anything like that before we get into the sports story, the shtick at the end of the thing we do? Yeah, you can do that in a minute, but don't do that yet. Anything else you want to share about anything going on ministry wise or any of that good stuff?
Well, a couple weeks ago, I got a word. I actually wrote a sermon on it. It's no limit. So there's no limit to how much God that we can have. So the thing that I see constantly in our generation is that we put a lid, or we put a limit on several different things. Like, okay, I can only drink this amount of water, or this amount of soda, or eat this amount of food.
Yeah.
And that it's not only in just our everyday lives, but in our spiritual lives and in church and our prayer lives and everything. We just put a limit on, I'm only going to give God this 10 minutes a day or 20 minutes a day. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
You are your own limit. You put your own limit on how much God that you truly want. And, that's
and I think the flip side of that too is we also put a limit on what God can do.
That's right.
And
that is exactly right.
And we know he can do anything he wants to do. There's certain things he can't do. Believe it or not, folks, there are certain things he can't do. He can't sin. But we do put a limit on what he can do. And I think when we do that, he does. He limits that. So
just for example, from just going from different churches, I noticed some, might have experienced more of God than another one, determining on how the leadership is and how much they actually put a limit on God and how they do the services on, if we're going to do this amount of time. They just put limits on, like altar call and stuff like that, where it limits you to have God. But I feel like ultimately you don't need church. It's definitely a helpful thing. Church is definitely a helpful thing. It is something I need. I know I need to be there. I need to have that fellowship with others.
Right.
But you don't have to go to church. It's just, if you don't go to church, you usually don't stay on top of things, praying and getting into the Word.
Yeah.
But it's definitely we live in a limit society.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Right. And I think to clarify what you're saying is we all are supposed to be in church. We're all supposed to be congregating and worshiping together and ministering together and everything else. But we can worship God right here.
Right.
We can worship Him in the car. We can, and you should be. And you're learning that now. I didn't learn that till I was late 20s. So, but I was an atheist and an agnostic. So, I mean, I didn't have any reason to even think about it. But it didn't take me too long. But after I got saved, I realized, hey, I talk to Him all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I do. I pray to Him all the time. I ask Him stuff all the time. I ask Him really dumb questions, but and sometimes He answers me and sometimes He says, that's just a really dumb question.
Actually, I had somebody come to me the other week about, they were like, there's this person that, that's in my life right now, and I don't know if they need to be in my life or not, and I need to pray about it. I want to pray about it, but I don't feel like I can, because it feels like, it's stupid to ask about that.
Oh, wow.
But I had to sit there and explain to them how, God cares about every little thing. He cares about the amount of hairs that are on your head.
Yep.
He collects every tear. I just had to get that God cares about you and cares about what you're thinking about, what you're feeling, and He wants the best for you.
Yeah.
And I had to explain that.
Well, and that's cool that, number one, they were willing to come to you.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, trust you with the answer.
Mm-hmm.
And number three, you were able to give them that answer, because I don't know that everybody can give that answer.
Yeah.
Because some people don't know that. But yeah, all the time, anytime, anywhere, He's always available. And He listens to your prayers just like He listens to mine. Now, I do know there are some people that I trust as prayer warriors that we call them. And I do know, we are supposed to pray together and intercede and all that kind of stuff. So yes, absolutely. We should be asking other people, but hey, listen, God doesn't care how many words you put it in.
Right.
You put it in one sentence or 25 sentences. You can still pray to him however, whatever the need is, right?
That's exactly
Cool.
right.
Awesome. Good deal.
So you were saying, okay, I'm not going to try to fool anybody. Just want you guys to know this is going to be somewhere before the end of the podcast. But we actually we were chatting after the podcast and had so much more that we needed to share that we kept going. He said some things and I said some things that we wanted to share. So the first thing I wanted to share, so I don't forget, because I'll forget, I'm older than you, was that I wanted to mention that I was impressed with your class praying, stopping to pray. And I mentioned this on Mark Huffman's podcast as well. You guys stopped to pray when I requested prayer for my mother-in-law. And Mark sent me a message back, said our class we all stopped and prayed. I'm like, and you did it twice. So that was amazing because you were interceding for the whole situation. She did pass. It was her time to go. She's with the Lord. She's in glory right now. So, but appreciating that there were youth, an entire classroom of youth that were willing to stop and intercede was pretty cool. That's pretty neat for this old man right here. So, but anyway, you had some stuff that you did want to share ministry wise, and one of them was about Peru.
Yeah. Let's start with, I guess we'll start with Peru.
Go for it.
But, back in, the end of, beginning of June, I went from June 1st to June 7th. We went to Peru with our, missions group at, South, and we went to Peru. We met up with a missionary. His name is, Wayne and Phyllis.
My daughter, Anna, went.
Really? Yeah, Anna went. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
But yeah, the missionaries we met up with is Wayne and Phyllis Wozniak, and they're actually linked with our church, and I know several other churches around. I think some up in Virginia as well. But we went to Lima, and we went around to churches in Lima for a couple of days and helped. I know one church we actually went to, we painted the inside and outside of it, and we didn't actually build the roof, but we gave the funds for the roof. Right.
Yeah.
So that was amazing experience.
My favorite. Not my favorite.
Yeah, I don't know about painting. But then from there we left Lima. We were in Lima for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
I think 3 days. And then we went from Lima to Pucallpa we went there 2 days. And in Pucallpa it was a different experience. We went on the Ucayali River, something like that. We went up on boats on the Ucayali River.
That's me. I don't know. I'm trusting you now.
Yeah. to this small village. It was actually called San Francisco.
Oh wow,
it was pretty cool.
Well, there you
it had
go.
like this red bridge going into it.
Not our San Francisco.
No, not our San Francisco. But definitely, the people in Peru are just so nice, and
cool.
It just made me feel like I was at home. And I actually broke off from the group while we were in Peru. It wasn't like a big time, but for like 2 hours, and I ate some food with Jafar, Mickey. Those are two I know.
Okay.
There's another one. I'm sorry if you're watching this. That's your name. I'm sorry, but I actually still talk to Mickey. But,
oh, nice.
Yeah, we're pretty good friends. But They introduced me something called Inca Cola, but it was super good.
Inca Cola,
super good. We ate some Peruvian style pizza.
Is Inca Cola a food or a drink?
It's a drink.
Oh, okay.
And then we had some Peruvian style pizza. It was pretty good.
Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Neat.
But I made some pretty good friends in Pucallpa.
Nice.
And
nice.
Just amazing people. It made me feel like I was at home. And when I came back to the U.S., I was like, oh man, I want to go back.
Oh wow,
because I was like, oh gosh.
Well, missions people who are called to missions have always impressed me because I'm not called to, and I told God, I said, you call me, I'll go. And I understand you can go wherever. I get that. I'm not saying that I gotta have like a big sounding, whatever. But I haven't been called to that, so I'm impressed by people who are. So that's pretty cool. You and my daughter has too, so that's pretty neat to come back with the stories and that. So, but you had a couple other things you wanted to share, and one of them is tied into the school, with the class. So tell me about the prayer.
So we actually started our prayer. We get together every Tuesday, and sometimes even not even Tuesday, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, we'll still just get together and pray. Mm-hmm. But me and my class, we get together and pray. And
how'd that start?
Started right before school started. Orientation.
Mm-hmm.
A couple days before that, I talked to a few of my classmates, and they're like, "Go for it." So I actually brought it up to Mr. Huffman about getting together every Tuesday and having a prayer group, and he was, good with that. So the night before school started, God gave me fruits of the Spirit, right?
Mm-hmm.
He gave me that. And another thing is, I haven't really told many people, but the number 9,
Okay.
it started tying in with the 9 fruits.
Yeah.
But that's been our main focus this year in our classes about the fruits of the Spirit.
And in the church.
And in the church.
That's pretty amazing. Yeah.
But over the past 12 weeks, we've just been constantly praying and interceding for a hungry God, not only in like a fire, not only in our school, but at the church. Like, it just constantly built, and it has like fall convocation.
Yeah.
I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like nothing I've ever seen.
Full on, huh? All right.
Yeah,
Nice.
it was amazing. But
cool deal. That's nice.
It's just always, it's tying in. I've called God a master weaver. He's weaving everything.
Yep. So don't do not fail to answer the call, whatever that call is. Here's the thing too about ministry stuff and what you're seeing. Ask the question. I mean, if it sounds like it's a weird idea, who knows? It might be something that that you could try within the church or within the school or within your group of friends. But if you feel like God's calling you to do a particular ministry, then do it. Just step out and do it. It's pretty cool. And you're being bold and you're stepping out and do it. Yeah. Sometimes people hold on to that stuff forever, and then it takes a while for them to step out and do that. So pretty cool. All right, good. So those were the things that we didn't cover on the podcast previously, but here they are now. And then we'll slide right into the next part, because this is like going to.
So now we'll slide into the shtick part, which I call it, which my executive producer does not like this part, but I don't care. I love it. I mean, I do care, baby. I care. I'm sorry. I didn't mean I don't care. I'm going to get myself in trouble, James. You better help me out, man. No, I do care, darling. I do care. But I'm going to do it. So this is what we do. So tell me, give me wait, no. I got to give you did you know you get parting gifts?
You get parting gifts?
Are you acting surprised, or did you really know? Did you go that far? Okay, that's good. Because some guys, they watch the podcast and they watch like 10 minutes of it or 15, and they don't see the end. The end is the most exciting part in my mind, right, James? Yeah, right.
Come on.
Don't lie to me. I love it. That's good. Oh, I already have one right here. So your first parting gift is this valuable and expensive and just, amazingly, you'll never find it anywhere. Well, you really won't, because the last 10 bottles are sitting right down here. This is Mr. Bill's and Mr. Bill's STEM Education and Bill Ward Photography hand sanitizer. Is that awesome or what?
Can I get it signed?
Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, I'm going to sign something else for you, but yeah. What I'm going to sign for you is I'm going to sign this for you, the official Willie Hayes Chicago Cubs baseball card. This is really my card. And yes, I will sign it. I will autograph this. And according to my producer, it'll be worth exactly what it's worth when you walk out of here. I don't know what that means, but whatever. That's what he said. And the most exciting part of all is you get to choose a Lego superhero. And you say to yourself, why a Lego superhero, right?
Why a Lego superhero?
Exactly. I knew. That's what I knew that. And the reason is, number one, the STEM ties into science, technology, engineering, and math. The engineering part, these Legos are not put together like mine is. So you have to engineer. Wait, make sure that I can see. Iron Man. I am Iron Man. So, anyway, so you have to engineer them. But also because we believe that the men, the young men, and the old men that come through here on the greater purpose in God's eyes are superheroes. So you get to choose from, I think that's like Creepy Thor. No, I don't know who that is. Is that Thor? That's not Thor. I don't know who that is. There's Captain Marvel. And yes, there are women in here. There's Green Lantern, Black Widow. Whoops, sorry about that.
Who's that?
I don't know who that is.
I want Batman. You got Batman?
Oh, yeah, Batman's in here. I just saw him. Oh, you remember that one? You remember the old one? You watch the old ones? Those are great. Those are so cheesy. They're great. He's in here, I promise. I just saw him. I promise. Batman, where are you? Turn on the bat light. Wait. If I would have gone through these, that would have been the first one I would have gotten. I just saw him. I don't think, oh, you know what happened?
What?
I bet Noah took Batman. There's Batman!
Oh,
Batman! Alright, cool.
Batman.
Alright, so good. Now you get to tell us your Give us your sports-related story.
Oh.
I know you've been thinking about this for days, right? No, you haven't.
Be honest, I'm not big on sports,
but
I can definitely share some memories.
it doesn't have to be you, but yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Mark Pendleton, it's my stepfather, still my stepfather. Not legally, but still my stepfather.
Okay.
But just all the times that we just spent, watching games, and then we've actually went to a Steelers and Panthers game preseason, but
cool.
we went and watched that. But definitely just the time I spent with him, the time I had with him, it was that's probably my main thing, honestly.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's just memory shared with him.
And I like that. So, anything interesting happened while you were at the game, or just a game, right?
I dropped my pencil.
You dropped your pretzel.
It was like an $8 pretzel.
Oh no, that's terrible. I love pretzels. Soft pretzels. Oh, I love them. And you dropped it.
I dropped it.
I would be devastated. That would just kill me. Hey, by the way, if you really like those, you need to go to Pennsylvania to the Amish country and get an Amish pretzel. You will be ruined for life because the ones here are nothing like that. They're amazing. Anyway, so there you go. So there's your sports story and your pretzel story all in one. Gavin, listen, I appreciate you first we tell them. Thank you for being here. Like, subscribe, share. Go back to the-greater-purpose.com. Check them out. All that stuff. Support the podcast. Tell all your friends. Let everybody know. Make sure you share it with everybody. Gavin, thank you for being here. God bless you. Appreciate you. James, thanks for bringing him.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, there you go. Thank you for being here on the Greater Purpose Podcast. We hope you've been inspired, encouraged, and motivated to serve your greater purpose. God bless.